How does a club spending millions on expensive players fail to win anything? How does one man take over a failing Mamelodi Sundowns and within just one season turn them into the best team in South Africa? This is the insane story of how Mamelodi Sundowns turned the PSL into a farmers' league. On the 2nd of December 2012, Patrice Motseper decided to appoint Pitso Mosemarner as the head coach. Johan Neeskens has just been sacked after a string of poor results, leaving the team in the relegation zone. When Pitso received a call to manage the most expensive squad in South Africa, this was a no-brainer, but this also was not an easy task. This team wasn't in great shape, the structure was dead with no evolution in every department, and despite the size of the club, they haven't dominated football for a while with a run of over 10 years without a league title. But the day Mosemarn arrived, everything was going to change. Now, by all means, this was not a bad Mamelodi Sundowns team, they just lacked direction, which is exactly what Mosemarn gave them, despite finishing outside the top 8 when he took over. Dr. Patrice Motsepe remained patient. It was also announced that Mankoba Mngidi would become his assistant coach, and right away, Pitso started making some changes to the squad. He offloaded some big names such as Nyatarma, Daniels, Marlin, Richard Henyekarn, even Temba Swarner was sent on loan to Black Aces, and he boosted his squad by bringing in Malagila, Zungu, Moon, Mulenga, Mashego, Mashaba. And most notably of all, Kama Biliat, with a fee of around 10 million rands to become the Brazilian's latest signing. Now the squad was in place, and Mosemarner quickly discovered his preferred formation with Kennedy Mwini in goal, a back four consisting of Mpet Lerler, Entite, Wayne Arense, and Tobogo Langerman Plampo Kakana holding the midfield and Mariri and Zungu playing ahead of him, and the attack of Biliat, Lafor, and Katlego Mimperla. This season began August 2013 in 3-1 victory over Celtics. They were on fire with a 6-game unbeaten streak, including a 7-1 thumping of Amazulu FC with a brace from Katlego Mampela, Mashigo, and goals from Dovwom, Malagila, and Kakana. This brace from Mperla was not uncommon and was a story of the season as he was scoring goals left, right, and center throughout the entire year. Mosemarn's men continued on this good run of form until they faced Kaizer Chiefs in January, where they were defeated by a 1-0 in a game that would be so decisive come the end of the season. This Chiefs-Sundowns rivalry was at peak this year, and we'll be talking about it a lot more soon, but things went from bad to worse for Sundowns. Team performances became inconsistent, and Sundowns found itself 11 points behind log leaders Kaizer Chiefs, but they would bounce back in style as began an 11-game unbeaten streak that would pose them as one of the favorites to win the title. Things were clicking under Pitso Mosemarn, and hope was brewing in Pretoria, something that was so distant to hear before under Neeskens. Come March of this year, and the PSL was a 3-horse race against rivals. Come the end of the season, Sundowns won the league on the last day with just a 2-point gap ahead of Kaizer Chiefs. So just like that, Mosemarn's man picked up their first trophy of the season. Entering the 14-15 season, the Brazilians added more quality to their squad, signing Keegan Dolly, bringing Zwarn back from loan and introducing Academy wonder kid Percy Tau. The new season went on with a disappointing start, with a string of poor results, including an embarrassing 3-0 defeat to Orlando Pirates, but Sundowns still remained in the title race. The previous season, they were so close to a treble, and this was their target this year. In just a couple of months, it would all fall apart. Kaizer Chiefs had quietly put together a dream team spear headed by Masango, Labis, and Malulurka, and nothing was going to stop them. In April 2015, Sundowns lost 1-0 to Kaizer Chiefs, with the Amakosi using this victory to propel them to the PSL League title, finishing the season in first place with 12 points ahead of Sundowns. They were also knocked out of the MTN 8, but the Brazilians redeemed themselves, winning the Nedbank Cup with a 4-3 penalty shootout win over Ajax Cape Town, and also winning the Telkom Knockout with a victory over their rivals Kaizer Chiefs. Now, this was the beginning of something special. Pitso Mosemarn came with a new strategy, taking his boys to an intense pre-season in Zambia. Playing against physical, tactical, and skillful teams such as Zesco, and Kana, and Wanderers, clearly Pitso had one thing in his mind: the Champions League. The core and philosophy of the squad actually remained pretty similar. They were not rebuilding every season like other teams, with addition of top quality up front with Ngio, Vilakazi, Castro, and the navigator Teco Modis was back to his best form. Come the opening, of the season, the Brazilians were on fire, going on a record-breaking 22 games unbeaten run, hammering all their rivals, from Supersport United, Orlando Pirates, to Kaizer Chiefs. During that season, the Brazilians were well known for their deadly attacking trio, CBD, Castro, Biliat, and Dali. They started the Champions League campaign with a 1-0 loss against Chicken Inn, but turned the fixture around, winning 2-0 in the second leg with goals from Arenze and Machego. The Brazilians went all the way to the group stages. Come January of that season, they also sat on top of the PSL. And even more interesting, they sat more than 15 points ahead of Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates, who sat on both 5th and 7th position as they were both underperforming. From this position, they never really did slip in the league, and they eventually finished comfortably in the first place with a 14 points lead ahead of second-placed Vets, University having wrapped it up in April that year. But as much as they dominated the league, there was a second prize they were interested in, and there was truly magic going on at the club this season as they couldn't be stopped in Africa. Nobody saw this coming? Sundowns were eliminated from the 2016 HERF Champions League, but were placed back in the competition after Congolese team Vita Club were disqualified from the competition for fielding a suspended player. Sundowns came back facing Zesco United in the semifinals, but suffered a narrow defeat, with Kama Biliat scoring in the 87th minute. An away goal that proved to be decisive in the second leg as they edged out Zesco 3-2 on aggregate, with goals from Percy Tau and Lafour, sending the Brazilians to the final of the CURF Champions League. For somehow an even more dramatic fixture as they would face a deadly team from Egypt, Zamalek. With the likes of the great Shikabala, the first leg saw an unexpected 3-0 win of the game where Lafour scored the first, Longerman with the second, and Islam Gamal with an own goal as the Brazilians were heading to Cairo with a massive advantage. As the second leg kicked off, tensions were high, and in the 64th minute, Stanley Ohauchi scored to bring Zamalek back into the game. It was very dramatic. Zamalek was launching attack after attack with Sundowns defending for their lives. Things became even tougher when they lost their goalkeeper Dennis Onyango, but Wayne Sandilands came in and put on a sterling performance. 5 minutes before the end of the game, the genius Pitso Mozimane introduced another central dender Sianda Zwan, shutting the back door with the likes of Asavela, Mbekile, Tabo Antet, and Sumahuru. Sundowns managed to hold on and be crowned as the champions of Africa. This season was all about Kama Biliat as he scored 13 goals that landed him Footballer of the Season. But this entire Sundowns team were onto something special. After being counted out for some time to being champions of Africa and South Africa, after some celebrations and rest, they were back to work next season as this team was only just getting started. Pitso Mosimane entered his third season now as the most successful coach at Sundowns. He turned a trophyless Sundowns into champions of Africa. He also turned them into a team with passion, friendship, and glory. The Brazilians went on to win the THERF Super Cup and also participated in the Club World Cup, even though they missed out on the league title by only 3 points below the winners Vets University. Sundowns went on to win the title 3 times in a row, including the famous league tactics against Kaizer Chiefs, where they signed Kaizer Chiefs key play George Maluleka with an attempt to destabilize the Chiefs midfield, and guess what, it worked. Sundowns remained dominant until the departure of Pitso Mosimane in 2020. If you are enjoying this video, please leave a comment below. When Rulani took over alongside Mankoba Mkidi and Steve Kompella, the team was already a well-oiled machine. The philosophy was the same from under 12 until senior team. Rulani came in and added his spice. Sundowns became very deadly. They made a bold statement by embarrassing Al Ali 5-0 with goals from Zwane, Arense, Nascimento, Sereno, and Matlambi. Coach Rulani beefed up his squad with technically gifted South Americans, merging Sereno with the likes of Ribeiro Costa, Marcelo Allende, Esquivel, Mendieta, and Temba Zwane. Ever since then, Sundowns turned South African Premier League into a farmers league. They are far, far away from everybody else. Sundowns continued signing all the best players in the league, the likes of Mokoena, Jali, Mbule, Mabo, Ronwen Williams, Maseko, Shalulile. The Brazilians were unstoppable. They went on to win the African Football League in a 2-0 win over Wydad, with goals from Modiba and Shalulile. Without doubt, Sundowns became the best team in Africa, dominating every opponent they face, whether it's a team from North Africa, West Africa, or anyone. Sundowns became lethal. Even coach Hugo Broos started selecting more Sundowns players in the national team. When Cardoso took over, the team was already deadly. All the hard work from the team's management booked them a place at the FIFA Club World Cup, where they showed their strength against the likes of Borussia, Dortmund, and other world-class teams. This simply means that this team is now superior, and it's almost unfair for them to play against South African teams. That is how Sundowns turned the PSL into a farmers league. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and comment below. That's it for today, folks. See you next time.